Well, I hope you guys are excited because it's time for our daily dose of emotional distress. At this point, when it comes to these awful and depressing backstories of some of our favorite beloved Spongebob characters, I'm not exactly sure if I have gone completely numb to feeling any type of emotions at all, or if I've just gotten used to the tomfoolery and pure madness. When I first started making reaction videos, I never thought that it would spiral to a point where I start to question my own existence and morality as a human being. Some of the backstories of these Bikini Bottom inhabitants that we've looked at so far, that I have feelings of despair for fictional animated drawings that don't even really exist in the reality plane. This time we're taking a look at the head honcho, the big stepper, SpongeBob SquarePants himself. I hope you guys are ready, because I'm certainly not. Without any further ado, why SpongeBob has been driven to madness, SpongeBob SquarePants, from our favorite mad scientist, the theorizer. Let's see what we got. Oh no. The voices are back. This is bad. I gotta go talk to my therapist.
It's Friday the 13th again, and you all know what that means. I'm covering more SpongeBob SquarePants, the show of absolute terror. Whether it be Plankton, the attritional...
You know what the craziest part about this is? The show of absolute terror? You psychopathic theorizers, Theorizer, Alex Bale, and all of the other hooligans making these theories, you're the one that makes this so terrifying. It is you sickos that are making this terrifying for me, dude. SpongeBob was just happy and joyful. Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Come home from a long day of algebra, failed your English test because you don't know how to read and write because you dumb as hell. Come home, absolutely demolish some animal crackers and a juice pouch while casually watching SpongeBob SquarePants. And now look where we are, constantly living life in existential dread and unending agony.
Whether it be Plankton, the attritional rapid force psychologically manipulative war mastermind of breakdown,
of course,
or Patrick, who suffers from trauma-induced anxiety-triggered, spontaneously duplicative, multi-intellectual, dissociative identity disorder, paranoid schizophrenia, and chronic delusions.
I don't even want to go back to that.
Multiverse. This show has demonstrated to me
PTSD.
that it has a lot to unpack. So, in an attempt to use insanity to take this as far as I seriously can, today we are dissecting SpongeBob himself and how he's clinically insane.
Dear God, bro. Y'all know the drill. Go give him a big old juicy spanking. He told me personally he loves when you guys spank him. Big and juicy.
I'm the Theorizer, and SpongeBob SquarePants himself is a lot like Squidward tentacles, but only in the moments where
What
Squidward
is that
acts
photo?
crazy. SpongeBob is always crazy, hopping around like a maniac, brain turned to absolute mush, etc. Squidward, however, when something goes very wrong, or he simply cannot
he has a full
anymore,
mental breakdown.
Freaks out, starts laughing like a crazy person, and giggling like SpongeBob. He quite literally acts exactly like SpongeBob and Patrick in his moments of pure rage and intolerance of their stupidity. No normal person acts like this 24/7, but it's understandable if someone is under extreme stress to go sort of hilariously insane. Thanks to my extensive theories, we know why Patrick does this, and we literally see in the show why Squidward sometimes
I still have not fully recovered from the pure and utter chaos of that Patrick series, bro. That thing got so out of control, he had to make like 17 parts to the backstory of one singular character. If you haven't seen that,
But SpongeBob is the only
Bro,
one without
that's
an origin
insane.
of his carefree bliss. If you've watched the third and final part of my Patrick
Trust
Theory
me, I have.
trilogy, you may have an idea of where I'm taking this.
I
Patrick,
don't like
I
it.
diagnosed with hundreds of multiplying split personalities and severely chronic delusions. As stated in my previous videos, some of this confusion and terror rubs off on the people around him, including SpongeBob. SpongeBob was silly as a child, I'm sure you can all find evidence for that,
Right.
but that's normal for all kids. SpongeBob's problem is that he's not changed. His problem is that he's been driven past those occasional outbursts that Squidward has, those manic, ridiculous laughing fits he has. Sometimes, albeit rarely, Squidward is driven so far, like in the Magic Conch episode, that his eyes grow wide and he gives into the madness, like the idiot friends around him.
Right.
But SpongeBob acts like this all the time. It's his mind's failsafe after giving up on sanity. Ignorant bliss. SpongeBob
So it's
still-
just everybody that lives in Bikini Bottom just a raging psychopath? Like everybody has some type of mental shenanigans going on?
safe after giving up on sanity.
Everybody's
Ignorant
brain cells are woo-walking? Like,
bliss. SpongeBob still has many normal moments, but when Patrick gets stupid, SpongeBob immediately snaps into this mode. Not only around Patrick, though, SpongeBob also randomly will snap into it as a part of his general personality. It's leaking through. It's become second nature for him to have these unruly snaps of ridiculousness. It's certainly nothing like what Patrick's got going on, but it's still something. SpongeBob is an immature child. It's like he's reverted to childhood by going too far with Patrick, hanging out too much, giving this mentally ill echinoderm a friend at the cost.
this is getting kind of freaky now. SpongeBob and Patrick spending a little too much time together, alone with each other, and their personalities rubbing off on one another, almost like a couple in a romantic relationship.
Hanging out
It's
too
confirmed.
much, giving this
It has been
mentally ill
confirmed.
echinoderm a friend at the cost of his own sanity. SpongeBob's family doesn't second guess it. This is a problem because it means SpongeBob had a little something before he met Patrick, a crack in his mentality, a weakness for bliss. And when I say insanity, I'm not talking about him having random mental disorders. I'm talking about how he has
No, of
literally
course not.
disconnected himself from reality as a last-ditch effort for subliminal self-preservation. He endured a trauma, a torment, which has
He removed himself from reality for his own self-preservation. Once again, I'm feeling sadness.
for subliminal self-preservation. He endured a trauma, a torment, which has made him into this extremely immature
But that's like when I wake up in the
adult.
morning.
Then again, each character in Bikini Bottom is so far into their stereotypes that it makes me feel like something severe.
What is this episode, and why does everybody have pulsating boners on their heads, dude? What is going on? What?
Bikini Bottom is so far into their stereotypes that it makes me feel like something severe has happened to all of them in one fell swoop, but more on that some other time. So as I said, something must have happened to SpongeBob at one point or another to cause this severely problematic behavior. So I'm gonna prove all of this by going through a few clips.
Okay.
And it'll show you how Squidward and SpongeBob are frighteningly similar when it comes down to their breakdowns in mental state. In the first clip, we'll observe Squidward has just had a frustrating day dealing with SpongeBob.
Yep.
At the very
And
end,
the art.
SpongeBob manages to do the exact opposite of what Squidward had wanted. This final blow hit Squidward the wrong way, and he broke down, being incapable of anything but a single smile, which he held for quite some time, before absolutely losing it, laughing and freaking out. But we need more evidence, more clips. In this second clip from the episode entitled Good Old What's His Name,
What's
Squidward
his
tried
name?
to beat SpongeBob in a contest for a vacation brochure, and when his attempts resulted in his imprisonment, he started to lose it. But when Mr. Krabs reveals that the contest was actually to win the brochure itself and not the vacation, Squidward has what I shall call...
Dude, Mr. Krabs is devious. Nah, that is diabolical on a whole different level. You don't win the vacation, you just win the brochure that gives you all of the information of the vacation. That's pure evil, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
itself and not the vacation, Squidward has what I shall call a mini moment. His eyes go bloodshot, and he starts giggling and chuckling with a warped face while he smiles. It's quite faint, but you can in fact see a resemblance to SpongeBob's laughable personality in this moment. However, it's other scenes where we really start to see it. In the episode called Squid's Visit, the animators sort of go all out with this whole idea.
Okay.
After some horrendous antics with SpongeBob, Squidward, like we've seen multiple times now, basically caves in and becomes as crazy as SpongeBob. After his house is burnt down by an overcooked casserole because he was too distracted by playing with a vacuum cleaner.
Those casseroles, bro, I'm telling you.
He has a vision where he appears to be dining with the vacuum. It's clear at this point in the episode that he's taken too much of the inanity. After SpongeBob tells
Maybe
Squidward
it's
that he can
shrooms.
stay over for the time being, Squidward's face becomes warped and dead, and then he shrinks and vanishes to a point. It is then that we are shown him in the vacuum. He has slipped from sanity. He is doing like SpongeBob
He's just
Bridges
completely
and
lost it.
using his imagination in the worst way
Oh my-
possible.
Imagination! Oh no.
His imagination.
We know our imagination
in the
gets us
worst way
in jail.
possible. As he drinks tea with the vacuum, he offers up a casserole. Then he laughs like a maniac, and it zooms in on him. We then see the reality of this situation. Squidward's sentience has vacated his body. Basically, he's insane. And what goes on in his mind parallels that of SpongeBob and the use of
Oh my
his
God, he's dead.
imagination. If it was SpongeBob doing this weird dinner thing, it's something we would all laugh at, but since it's Squidward and they play eerie music over top of it, we are certain something
You're supposed to
isn't
be
quite
uncomfortable.
right. Another good episode for proof of Squidward's similarities to SpongeBob is in the episode where he moves into a private neighborhood. He can't even go a few days without doing
Oh
something
yeah!
immature.
We watched a video about this! This entire episode was depressing as well!
Literally has too much fun with a leaf blower.
Yeah, and then he lives that same day over and over and over and over and over again, and then he realized that he only enjoys these things because he can't do them all of the time. You know what I'm saying? His little free time that he has away from work and dealing with the shenanigans of SpongeBob and Patrick, that's when he finally has the time to do and indulge in the arts. In the music and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But then when he does it all day, every day, over and over and over again, he realizes that it's not as luxurious as it's supposed to be.
Deep down, he is just
I
like his
remember
crazy
that.
neighbors. It's like he's almost putting on an act around SpongeBob and Patrick, trying to be sophisticated, when honestly, we know he isn't. Squidward has had many mental breakdowns before. He has very severe anxiety and is prone to panic attacks. He'll do anything to be better than SpongeBob, as we see many times, and he's very immature deep down. People who are truly sophisticated, like Squilliam, see how he's a poser and a fraud. He's an insane squid who tries to be better than everyone else.
Wait a minute! The irony in this statement of Squilliam calling somebody else a fraud. I know Squilliam ain't the one talking. I know Squilliam is not the one calling out fraudulent activities, bro.
Down. People who are truly
If you know,
sophisticated
you
like
know.
Squilliam see how he's a poser and a fraud. He's an insane squid who tries to be better
That's
than everyone else,
so
only
ironic.
to please himself. He's a narcissist who thinks he's amazing with art and music. Upon being criticized, he becomes livid. In actuality, SpongeBob is far more mature than Squidward. It just isn't very apparent because it's, as I've been saying, SpongeBob has gone permanently insane to the point where he's not aware he's even doing it. And it's
So then my question is, what is the event? What happened that triggered this psychosis that caused him to spiral away from reality and completely slip into total insanity? What happened?
convincing, not even we can tell that something is amiss. A good example of a mental breakdown
Was it when he
is in
broke
the
his
episode
butt?
where he takes a trip to what I'll call Clarinet Land. Some would call this a drug trip or a fever dream.
It was.
Though he is not sick or high, he's crazy.
I
An
was.
absolute head case. But this theory of mine is about SpongeBob. I'll do Squidward's mentality another day, very soon. Point is, these two are similar with what they find amusing, or how they see things altogether. Now, SpongeBob could very well be insane, or he could be a psychopath faking bliss and insanity. And if we're truly going in this direction...
Okay, now we're good. Now you're taking this too far. Okay, now you're telling me everything that you have just said to me. SpongeBob slipping into total and complete insanity, losing his entire mind, is just a front. And he's faking it, and he's being fraud. Dude,
There's even a
can
strong...
we not do this, please? Can we not do this? I was having a lovely Wednesday evening, and then we gotta go and do this.
and insanity. And if we're truly going in this direction, there's even a strong possibility that he could be an insane psychopath who thinks he's faking bliss and insanity. An emotionally dead psycho, so disconnected from reality that he fakes crying and emotions because he's so desperate for bliss.
Now we're
A
getting too
psycho
deep.
so nuts that he thinks he's a TV show character, and he is, which makes this even further layered with intellectual psychology. Since it's even more unlikely than what I'm already spouting, though, I'll keep myself grounded.
What are these
For now.
clips?
Many people have also noted how the show SpongeBob SquarePants got really bad
I'm gonna have
and
nightmares.
unfunny after sometime around the episode known as Squilliam Returns, where SpongeBob's little people in his mind threw out all of his
Fine
knowledge
dining
in
and
the form of
breathing.
files, erasing everything he knows. It's my belief that this was actually the point where he officially lost his sanity. Before this point, he was mostly just being kind to the mentally disabled Patrick, but after, he had no clue of anything. His
That's kind of fucked up. For the first part of this, yeah, he was just being nice to his mentally disabled best friend. Just being real nice to him. That's kind of fucked up, dude.
mentally disabled Patrick, but after, he had no clue of anything. His brain, I repeat, turned into pink mush. For those of you wondering, this is the main series on my channel. Coraline sort of was, but I only ultimately made about 3 theories on that. The rest were just answering your questions, which is why I'm likely going to make a whole other one sometime this year. For now, though, the dissection of the mentalities of SpongeBob characters is my main series. It may be mostly ridiculous, but I find it a ton
You
of
sure it
fun.
ain't Mort?
And
'Cause
so
that
do you.
Mort was
So I will
madness.
keep doing it. In
The
fact, you guys,
multiverse.
please go out and find more instances where Squidward goes crazy. It will help. And once you guys aid with more evidence, I'm making a follow-up theory on SpongeBob. And I've also got Squidward's and Mrs. Puff's theories coming down the pipeline. Lots of theories on television shows this year. And so, until next time, I'm the Theorizer.
Dude, this is just getting too much for my one singular body to be able to handle. I know that I have a rock solid, perfect Greek god physique, but there is only so much craziness that one man can handle, and this is tipping that over, bro. How did we get here? You're telling me that SpongeBob is either pretending to be insane and mentally unstable, or that he is so insane and mentally unstable that he thinks he's pretending, but in reality, he actually is just insane and mentally unstable. And then we got comparisons to Squidward. Then you start bringing in that Patrick theory with me. God forbid he starts to touch Gary, dude. This is absolutely psychotic, and I cannot continue to keep doing this to myself.